All right, guys. So in this video, what we're going to look at is how to set up Windows Server 2022 Standard Edition on your VirtualBox. You should have already watched the previous video on how to do the mathematical calculation and to see how to run your OS and get the prerequisite done. That is very important, or you will end up crashing your machine. Okay. And I will put this into two different parts. One is if your computer is capable of running it, you can watch this and get it installed on your computer, which is the best way to do this. But if your computer is not capable of running virtual machines, if it's slow, not a problem at all. I will give you guys some options of virtual VPS, virtual private servers, at a cheap price, so you guys can go and purchase it and you guys can go and install. I'll show you the website, and you can just follow the next steps and then to get it installed. Okay, so let's look at the first our self-hosted VirtualBox installation first, and then in the next video I'll show you the VPS as well. Okay. All right, so just going to make myself mini right now. The mini me. Okay, so this is going to be assuming you already have VirtualBox installed and you already followed all the steps you're supposed to get the information, right? All right. So this is my VirtualBox. As you see, just ignore these virtual machines because we have our ethical hacking classes, right? So we teach all these the ethical hacking portion. Well, in this way, you're not going to have anything. Either you can go in machine and click on new over here, or you can go from this okay, so let's, for me the option is not here, is because I already have other operating systems here, so that's the reason why. For myself, I'm just going to go click on tools over here and get either new here, or from the machine I can get new. Okay, control N also will give you the same prompt. And remember that, guys, before you start installing this on your LMS platform, there should be already a place where you can go to download the Windows Server ISO image, which is what you need to get your installation of server. Okay, it's an installation file for the server itself. Click on New, give it a name. I'm just going to do Windows Server 2022, and I'm going to install standard. Okay, and then next you would want to do is this: select ISO image over here, click on the down arrow, select others, and go to the space where you save the images. So I saved it in my downloads folder over here, Windows Server 2022 standard. Just realized standard. Okay, so this, and the next important step you need to follow is skip unattended installation. You need to skip that. We never use the unattended skip. I think it's just I always find it gives issues in the it always gives issue when we do some other things in the class as well. So I never do the unattended installation. Okay, so click on next over here, and we've seen that from the previous I can use maximum of 10 gigs of RAM and also 4 gigs of CPU. Okay, so in this case, I'm gonna this thing says to 2048 megabytes. So this is calculated based on megabytes, right? And 1 gig is equal to 1024 megabytes. Okay, so you just have to multiply by 4 or 3, whatever it is. I'm just going to leave it at 2 gigs just to show you that it will work at 2 gigs, and I'm just going to give this a 2 processor core. Okay, so this way that this will be slightly faster for me. Okay, 2 is enough, more than enough, and 2 gigs of RAM should be more than enough as well. Okay, and click on next. Virtual hard disk, you know that I can use from the previous recordings, you probably see that I can use up to 200 gigs. I'm just going to give it 100 gigs, okay, at this point. Yeah, we'll just give it 80. 80 gigs should be more than enough for this class, okay? Click on next. Finish. Okay, now that this is done, this is at a powered off state, okay? We need to power it on, just like how you would actually push the machines to power on. We'll power it on and you'll see it start up. And the initial startup will take some time. Okay? Just be patient about it. You see, it's starting up now. It's just like starting a physical machine. That's how virtual machines will work. Okay. Yes. So this, I'm just gonna make it this bigger. Okay. All right. So this is Windows. Any Windows operating system you install, and there's two separate. Okay. One is your commercial operating system, which is like the Windows Server editions, And then you have one is your consumer edition, which is your Windows 11, 10, whatever it is, right? So even in consumer edition, there's something called a commercial operating system as well. We don't have to go too deep into it. Well, when we go into the course, I'll tell you. But anything that says like you probably heard about it, like Windows 10 Home, Windows 11 Home, Windows 7 Home, Windows Vista Home, Windows XP Home. Those are all meant for home users. Okay, anything from Pro and up are meant for consumers. Corporations, and it's meant for anything that you can connect that with the Windows Server. Okay, and when we go into the course, I'll tell you more about it and how you can check. Okay, because for you to make sure the computer can be controlled with the Windows Server, that's the reason why you're installing Windows Server, right? It's to control all the consumer Windows. Okay, and there's only specific versions can be controlled. That's how Microsoft makes their money, right? So we'll go over it in the live class as well. Okay, but let's leave this as it is. We can change the languages to we can leave it as English, and the time and currency, I suggest you just change it to whatever country you're in. We're in, I'm in Canada, so I'm going to do English Canada over here. And the US keyboard is what we have, okay? And click on next. And it says installation. And Windows, any Windows OS you take, there's two different steps in completing the installation of Windows or setting up the Windows, okay? One is called Windows installation, and the other is called Windows Setup. Okay, so what we're trying to do right now is the first portion, Windows installation, and then once the installation is complete, we will do Windows Setup. Okay, so in this one, you just need to be very careful in this one, is because if I just extend this, you'll see that what date it was created, 2021 08 07, and Windows servers are in a corporate environment. One Windows servers will be there for 20 years, 20 25 years, because that's how it is. You don't upgrade a Windows server unless you need to urgently, right? So that's why it is. There's still a lot of banks that still uses Windows Server 2008, Windows Server 2012. It's just because they can't move. They have a lot of information that's there, right? So once you learn Windows Server, you become like a level 2, level 3 administrator, right? So that's what it is. Okay, Windows servers are the main backbone of the organization, and there still will be Windows servers that can never be completely removed. Okay, all right. So in this one, you don't want to install the one that just says Windows Server 2022 Standard Edition. You always want to install Windows Server Desktop Experience, is because it used to be called Core, which is 100% through command line. Okay, while you're learning, this is not, you don't need to do it through command line. You can do it through Desktop Experience, totally fine. That's how any companies will have it. There's no company that I've seen, I've worked with a lot of companies that just has a desktop environment that expects you to do everything through command prompt. And there's a reason why they do this. If you remove the GUI, which is a user graphical inputs, you actually reduce the amount of attacks that the server can be under, cybersecurity attacks. That's the reason why. Okay? And it makes it a little more secure. So the same way, but you can obviously do a remote desktop protocol to connect to bring in that desktop experience. Okay. But what we're going to do is we're going to do the Windows Server Evaluation Desktop Experience. We can install a desktop evaluation desktop experience as well, but we don't need to in this case. For our purposes, they're not going to make any difference for us. Yep. Click on next, and I'm going to agree to the Microsoft terms as usual, and then I'm going to do. You always do custom installation for Microsoft Server. Okay, and then you see the 80 gigs that we have given here. Click on next. And then this is going to start to install Microsoft Windows Server 2022 Standard Edition. Okay. This will roughly take, depending on your computers and your computer storage speed, how many RAM you have given and how many CPU you have given, right? So it's going to roughly take anywhere from 10 minutes to 25 minutes. So let it be at 90% or 92%, and I'll start the video again. I'm just going to go on a pause. Okay? And you guys wouldn't see any difference. All right, guys. So if you can see, we're at the final stage about getting the file installed, and it seems like pretty instant, right? From 2 to 95%, but this took about 15 to 20 minutes, I would say. And sometimes for some students, they have mentioned it took about 30, 35, 40 minutes, depending on the computer speed as well and the storage as well, right? So if you have SSD, it's a lot faster. If you have the old traditional hard drive, then it's a lot slower, right? So let's give it about 2-3 minutes while you guys can see it's finishing up the last 5%, and it's going to go into installing the features and updates, and it's going to ask you to restart. And guys, once the installation is complete, before you go on the setup phase, you're gonna see it's gonna restart a couple of times. It's completely normal. It's completely normal for the computer to restart or the virtual machines to restart 3 to 4 times, or sometimes even 5 to 6 times. Okay, it's very common. So it's at 96% now. So if you guys can see here, we're at the installing features part, and we're also at the installing update parts as well. So we're almost at the final stages of installation, and we're gonna go into the setup phase as well. Okay, so let's do that here. Wait for a couple of minutes, and I'm not gonna pause the video right now, but you can see the full stretch as well. Okay. At this point, the installation of updates is done too, the basic updates. Okay. And now it's gonna ask us to restart. If you leave it as this, it'll restart and start the setup process as well. Or you can just click on restart. It's fine if you just let it install and go and do some of your work and come back to it, it's fine. It'll still complete the setup process as well, and it'll allow you to do the setup. Okay, which we'll see here. And it is completely normal, guys, for the system or the virtual machines to reboot several times. Okay, and just I don't want to waste your time. There's not much here, and I'll start it back up. You won't see it; it's probably instance for you guys, but I'll meet you guys back when you're at the setup screen. Okay. All right, guys. So the restart has completed. It's restarted about 3 to 4 times, I believe. Now this is a screen you'll see. Okay, it'll say the username is administrator, and it'll ask you to set up a password. And I'm going to set up a simple password just for this class purposes, but you always need to set up a complex password in a real corporate environment. Okay, so I'm just going to set up just a normal. And my password is always, when I see normal, it's Ontario $1 O capital. And it's going to finalize the settings and get everything set up is ready. Okay. All right, perfect. And you see the Windows server is now installed. It's ready for us to go in and interact. Okay. And for you, if you need to always gonna go in, you always have to click on either in the top here, inputs, go under keyboard and do Control Alt Delete here, host delete. So this one, insert Control Delete, because it tells you Control Delete to unlock. Okay. This is how the server works. Input, and then you can go here and click on Control Delete or Host and Delete. Okay, which is just your Windows key and delete. That works. But usually you can do it from here. You have to do some other setups to make that work. I'll show you guys. Now, when you do that input and insert Control Delete, it's going to ask you to enter the password. Type in the password you just made up there. Yeah, and it's going to do the setup and everything. Okay, it doesn't take too long. It just takes a couple of minutes. All right. Now we're logged into our Windows Server 2022 Standard Edition. And you're going to have to click on yes in here. And we're going to have to do some things in here that I want you to start doing as soon as you set up. Okay. And this is part of your assignment as well. So just give it a couple of minutes, let it load up. That's okay. Don't choose again. Close this. Okay, the first thing is you're gonna fix your time. My time is incorrect, so I'm gonna right click on the time and do adjust date and time. And I'm just going to make sure I give the correct time zone. I'm in the Eastern time zone, so I just have to figure out where is the minus 5 o'clock UTC, Eastern time zone, US and Canada, 4:38, perfect. And also sync now will sync with the time zone, which makes it perfect because we already have network connection, right? As you see down here. The next thing we want to always do is the other thing is rename the server. Okay, this is something that I've seen everybody do this, and it's okay. So let's go into computer management here. There's several ways of sorry, not this one. There's several ways of going into here, local server, and you see where it says win9 something. It's a random number. I'm just going to click on this one, and then it's going to ask me to give it a name. This is not what we want to change. We actually want to change right over here and change the computer name here. You're gonna have to do your course ID, which is ITHDHR dash your name dash your last name. Okay, so it's ITHD, which is IT Help Desk, and the HR stands for hybrid role. Atavan, it's gonna be dash Adavan with the A capital. Or I'm just gonna it's just typing in first name to last name, and you can do the capital letter or smaller. I don't really care, but I like to do my first letter as capital, just as a punctuation, right? And Mahendra Kumar, my last name. I'm just gonna leave everything as is and click on OK here. And it's gonna ask me that the net BIOS name of the computer is limited to 15 bytes, 15 characters. Okay, so I can't do my last name. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna leave to just my first name. It's fine. If you have a smaller name, that's fine. Or your first name is fine. It's gonna be the IT help, your course code, your whatever your course code is. I don't want to. You don't just put an IT help desk HR. There's actually a course code for this. That's what I want you to start using. Okay. This. So it has automatically defaulted to Atvan because it cannot use longer. I'm just gonna go in here and just modify the settings. So as you see, because I gave it only 2 gigs, it is a bit slow. Okay. If I was to give 3 gigs, it should be fine. But because I did not, that's fine because that's just a slight lag that you're seeing, which is totally fine, right? It's just for testing purposes. And I'm gonna click OK. I'll click on close over here, and I'm gonna click on restart later for now. Okay, and we're gonna do the restart at the end. That's fine. Okay, so this is what you have done, and if you see here, I have 13 gigs and I have 2 gigs of RAM and 79 gigs of free storage, 79 gigs of usable storage and free. We can see here. We can go into folder here. And I'm going to show you guys if you have the capacity of increasing RAM. I'll show you guys how to increase the RAM even after installation. Okay. The hard drive increase is a bit different, but so you have 67 gigs of free storage, which is more than enough. Okay. So we can right click on properties. The Windows server has used 11 gigs. In total, I believe for this course, your Windows server with all the services we're going to play around with will use only a minimum of 40, but at least at the bare minimum, give it 60. Okay, so you can use just Windows. If you give anything lower than that, I think you might have issues with the system loading. Okay, the next thing is I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this as well, and I want you to go into sorry devices in devices here and going to insert guest edition CD image. So what this does is this will actually VirtualBox has actually a prerequisite driver files that it wants you to install. Once you install it, this will work a lot smoother than what is working right now, and you can do some cool tricks with it. So when you do that, you'll get it in your this PC. You'll get it like CD drive. Okay, VirtualBox guest edition. I'm just going to click on it and go under here and then go into Windows Edition, and not the AMD 64-bit or X64. I'm just going to click on here, okay? And click on next, next, install. And this will just make the virtual machine work a lot smoother with the virtual box. Okay, it'll just allow the capacity, and you'll see it's installed some driver files as well. And we're going to do a reboot now. Okay. Once this restarts, it should be a lot better at collaborating with Windows. Windows and VirtualBox should be collaborating way better. And this is totally fine. Don't freak out. It's totally fine. And in here, if we do host and oh, sorry, that's okay. Put keyboard host and delete. Okay. And then I'm going to put in the same password you set up. I always have a habit of I used to tell my colleagues and just joke around if somebody's looking at a password, I'll get it wrong incorrectly first time, and my juniors right. So it's just my habit. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter in the Windows server. When I type in my password first time, I always get it wrong. So I don't know if anyone's like you guys are like that too, but it's okay. Okay, now we should be able to do this. This is now loaded up, and we can actually make this. I'm just going to close that for a second. We can actually make this into full screen mode, and this will work just like a Windows server how it does. And I'll go on and we can minimize it too from here on the bottom. And then this will be a lot better. And the other thing that you can enable is go into your clipboard and do bidirectional here, and also go into your devices and drag and drop, do bidirectional. What this will allow you to do is, let's say, if you want to copy certain information from your host machine to your virtual machines, you can. So I'll show you here. If I want to just copy this, let's say this file over here, I can just drag it and drop it here, and it'll appear in this Windows server. And I can do the same thing to my host as well. So I can do from host to virtual machine, and virtual machines to host. Which I'll do like this. I have to take it off of screen, but I'll show you here. Right now it's AAA. I'll just put it dash, and then I'll drag it and drop it in my host OS or copy. Okay, that worked. Yeah, perfect. So that's how you enable that features. And then is there, if there's anything else that I want you guys to just turn on, is nothing right now. One, but the other one I want to show you before I let you go is was how to increase the RAM, even though you have already created your machine. Okay. Well, first thing you need to do is power off the machine, shut down, and you'll all be asked what is the reason for shutdown, because the server you cannot shut it down like just normal, right? So that's okay. We're just going to do other, and you should be putting a reason for why you're shutting down, and it's a must. It used to be a must. Okay. Okay. So we see this Windows server here. We select that one. Like if you select this one, go into settings, and I'm just going to make this bigger for you guys. Okay. So if you see here, you'll see the options of renaming the type. You can go to advanced and see some other options and descriptions as well. But what we're going to do is go under here. We're going to go into main board, and we're going to go into processor as well, right? So as I said, you can increase and decrease the processor. And motherboard, the base memory, we can go from 2 gigs to even 3 gigs or 4 gigs if we like, right? So show you here, if it's 4 gigs, then you just do the mathematical calculation of 1024 times by 4, or sorry, 1024 multiplied by 4, 4096, or 1024 multiplied by 3, which is 3072. I'm just going to do 3072. Okay, and that's fine. And then that will increase the RAM right now. Well, I'll show you when I power it up. I don't want to increase the processor. The processor where it is fine. If you want to decrease or increase it, I can from here, but I don't need to. I'm okay with that. If you scroll down here, you can do some audio settings and those type of things too. But this is all I want to show you guys right now. I'm going to click on OK, and then we'll go with power on. And right now, before, you know how we saw 2 gigs of RAM that was associated with this, now we should be able to see 3 gigs. It's powering on. It just takes slightly some time. close this, go delete board. I'm just gonna go into keyboard settings here, and it's okay. Seems like all good. Okay, so I'm just gonna do insert. Oh, insert this one. It's gonna ask me to enter in the password. I got it right the first time now. Okay, so now let's see. I'm just gonna delete this. Let the server manager load up. I'm going to local server, and you see right over here, it says 3 gigs now. Okay, 3 gigs. Perfect. All right, guys, this is how you will install a Windows Server 2022 Standard Edition desktop experience on a VirtualBox on your laptop or your desktop. And we in the previous video you saw what the rule of thumb you should be watching out for. Okay, and there should be another video. Just look for it, and it should tell us how you can get set up on the VPS if your computer is not capable of doing. You might have to spend 10 to 20 bucks per month for 1 or 2 months, right? That's it. You won't need it too long, which is worth it. And then you can power it off. It's a lot easier that way. Okay? A lot cheaper too. Okay, instead of buying a new computer. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Hope you're going to continue.